A year ago, I could barely complete a sentence in English without pausing to search for words. Speaking fast and fluently felt like an impossible dream. But today, I can express myself smoothly and confidently, and this is the story of how I trained myself to speak English fast. I grew up in a place where English wasn't used much outside of school. My teachers focused more on grammar rules than on speaking practice. As a result, I could read and write fairly well, but when it came to speaking, I hesitated. I was scared of making mistakes, of people laughing, and of getting stuck mid-sentence. But one day, everything changed. It was during a group presentation in college. I stood in front of the class, my heart pounding, my mind blank. I stuttered, paused, and stumbled through the few lines I had memorized. When I sat down, my friends didn't say anything, but I could feel the silence. That day, I made a decision. I had to change. I realized that, to speak fast, I first needed to hear how English was spoken. So I started listening to English all the time, TV shows, YouTube videos, podcasts, and songs. At first, I didn't understand everything, but I didn't let that stop me. I chose shows with subtitles, like Friends and The Office. I'd watch an episode once with subtitles, then again without them, trying to repeat what the characters said. It was fun, and slowly, I started picking up phrases, expressions, and most importantly, rhythm. Next, I discovered a technique called shadowing. It means repeating what someone says as soon as they say it like an echo. I would play short clips, pause, rewind, and copy the speaker's tone, speed, and pronunciation. At first, I sounded robotic, but day by day, my mouth got used to the movements. My tongue became faster, and I could say more words without stumbling. I made a rule. I had to speak English for at least 15 minutes a day. If I had no one to talk to, I spoke to myself. Yes, it felt weird, but I talked about my day, described what I saw around me, or imagined conversations. Sometimes I recorded myself and played it back. It was embarrassing at first, but I could hear where I was slow or unclear. Then, I'd repeat the same lines until they sounded better. One big mistake I used to make was translating from my native language. It slowed me down, so I started practicing thinking in English. If I saw a chair, I'd say, "That's a chair." If I felt tired, I'd think, "I need a break." This small habit helped me speak faster because I no longer had to translate before talking. To speak fast, I needed words, lots of them. But I didn't want to memorize boring lists, so I learned in context. When I watched a show or read a book, I noted down useful expressions. For example, instead of learning the word happy, I learned phrases like, "I'm thrilled," or "that made my day." Using real-life phrases made me sound more natural and confident. Finally, I joined English-speaking groups online. I found language exchange partners on apps like HelloTalk and Tandem. Talking to native speakers was scary at first, but most of them were kind and patient. I also joined Zoom conversation clubs, where people from around the world practiced English together. It felt like a global family, and it gave me the courage to speak more freely. After 6 months of consistent practice, I noticed a big difference. I could hold conversations without long pauses. I didn't worry too much about grammar while speaking. My words flowed more naturally. And the best part? People started saying, "Wow, your English is so fluent." It wasn't magic, it was hard work. But I realized something important. Fluency doesn't mean speaking perfectly. It means speaking confidently and clearly, even with small mistakes. If you're trying to speak English fast, remember this. You don't need a perfect accent, a foreign teacher, or expensive classes. You just need commitment, creativity, and courage. Speak every day, listen actively, shadow your favorite speakers, and don't be afraid to sound silly. Fluency is a journey, and every small step brings you closer. And if I could do it, so can you.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.